We saw him a little bit last year, but what do you like about Brandon's game and how can he help the linebacking corps?
Brandon is a very physical player, has great range. I don't know if y'all have seen him. Big body frame, covers a lot of ground. So what is it not to say about Brandon? Sky's the limit with him. It's just a matter of just focusing on the details. I feel like that's where we're all at right now. And once he accomplishes that, his game is just going to keep going to another level.
Thanks for several of you who have joined us. If you would go ahead and raise your virtual hand for questions. We'll go next to Kenny.
Hey, Ellis. You've kind of had the people in the Big Ten have kind of had been fortunate to be able to watch other college football teams and the pro leagues get going. My question is, have you watched much of other college football in the NFL and picked up on anything that you could learn? Maybe some of the things that they've struggled with that you can maybe work on mentally and physically going into this year?
Going into this year, I would say, yeah, I've been watching a lot of games. I'm a big student of the game. Somebody I love watching is Devin Bush, who plays for the Steelers, got out of Michigan a couple of years ago. Watching a lot of his film, a lot of his games, I feel like we play similar. So just picking up different things, different tendencies from linebackers, players I look up to. And yeah, for sure, just writing stuff down in my notebook, different things I'm going to try out, work on in practice. So for sure, yeah.
Thank you. We'll go next to Gianna from the Collegian.
Micah had the chance to pick the brains of Cam and Jan, stepping into that leadership role effectively. You got to pick his brain after the fact. What's the most grateful part of having the opportunity to do that? What have you, taken from that the most that, maybe we don't see, just from behind the scenes?
I would say how their preparation, especially Jan Johnson, his preparation to the game, his film study, the amount of film study. I thought I watched film before I saw how Jan Johnson watched film. And then, you know what I'm saying? Just, once you have that mentality of you don't know that, like what you don't know, where you're just always ready to learn. And I feel like once you have that attitude towards everybody, we learn and grow so much from each other. Like you said, Jan, Cam obviously was a great student of the game as well, like helped me mature. So I would say that was the biggest thing from behind the scenes, is just that the ability to get the best out of everybody, if that makes sense, and try to, make a community out of it and just try to get each other better.
Some great questions and great answers from Ellis. Donnie, let's go with you. Let's have the next great question from you.
A lot of pressure. Ellis, when you're watching film, a couple of guys have been asked about that, and you said you don't know what you don't know. What was kind of the first moment that you saw someone like Jan and he saw something on film that you didn't see? What was that moment like, and what did that teach you about what you have to be looking for when you're doing one of those sessions?
Just that one, especially coming in as a younger guy, just be quiet and listen. Listen as much as I can to pick up as much information as I can. And yeah, going older, as I got older, I would just say adapting the film study to the field. I would say it's probably the next biggest step. It's one thing to sit down, write notes. It's the next thing to translate it to the field. So I would say that's the biggest jump going forward.
Audrey, let's get a great follow-up question from you.
Well, going in a different direction, but Ellis, the NCAA is allowing players to put social justice messages on their jerseys or wear patches if they so choose this year. I know the Leadership Council's talking about it, going to figure it out, but what if you were allowed to put a message on your jersey? What would you like that message to be and why?
Personally, the message that's at least speaking to me right now is that it takes all of us. It's not an individual effort. It's going to take our entire community to fix the things that have been going on in our country. it's a rough time right now, but like I said, it takes all of us to just lean on each other and just love each other. I feel like love prevails overall. So, yeah, that would be my message.
Thank you for that. Josh Moore, let's go to you for a question.
Hi, Ellis. You guys have 3 new starting linebackers this season. I was just hoping you could compare and contrast a little bit. What do you guys maybe do a little bit differently compared to the last core, and what do you guys take the most pride in?
Things we do differently. I mean, different players obviously have different playing styles, different ways you take on blocks. Obviously, Jeffy coming in is a different player than Micah. Not saying, you know what I'm saying, but like how they play the game, certain techniques they might use. Like, I don't know. Can you re-say your question one more time? I'm trying to.
Sure. I'm just kind of curious, what's characteristic-wise, what's different about this core compared to last year? Like, is there maybe something you guys can hang your hat on? Like, hey, we think we're a little bit more instinctual or faster, or we have, we're focusing more on turnovers this year. What is the main difference between 2020 Penn State linebackers and 2019 Penn State linebackers?
Honestly, I don't know if I can make any comparisons, to be honest. I feel like that's why I had a rough time answering the question. I feel like it's just trying to improve and be the best players that we can be individually while making each other better. I haven't really given enough thought to that, probably, but I will say that this is a very exciting room with a lot of speed and a lot of talent. We're physical, we're very instinctual, and I feel like we're going to make a lot of plays.
Tony, that's a tough one to follow. What do you have coming up for us next?
Is the depth in that group, Ellis, better than it maybe has been in the past, experience-wise? You got the 2 young guys who were in the program last year, ready to compete. But it's Coach Franklin said yesterday that it's a position of strength even after losing 3 starters. Do you see it the same way?
Yes, sir. We've done a great job recruiting. We've done a great job of maturing guys once they got in here. Like you said, we had the 2 guys come in last year. They were able to get some snaps, able to grow up. We have talented guys that came in this year too. So I feel like it's definitely a position of strength. So very excited to see where we go from this. But for sure, if somebody needs a breather, I feel like it's definitely going to be the next man up. It's not going to be a drop-off.
Justin Hawkinsmith, let's go with you next for the next question for Ellis.
Thanks, Rose. Hey, Ellis. Can you just explain kind of what Jesse has shown as he's focused more on that will spot? You mentioned him earlier not being the same player, obviously, as Micah, but what have you seen from him as he's narrowed his focus to that spot?
I would say I keep saying this, but it's because it goes along with success. Jesse's attention to detail is through the roof right now. Me and him go back and forth with each other about just different formations, different aspects, just being the student in the game. And he's really came into himself. He's played the mic position as well. So it's like having 2 mics out there. He's very great at communication. Helps me get out calls, very talkative guy. So he brings an aspect. He's like another coach on the field for me, to where he helps out the weak side of the defense. He helps get people straight. It's been a blessing to play beside him. I think he's going to have a great year.
Sir, for that answer. Gianna, do you have a follow-up question?
Yes. Okay, bear with me here. Lawn Boys, they have their strategy of what they're going to do to build up, that relationship between them at linebacker for you guys in that group. What is it that brings you guys closer?
I feel like the level of competition we bring in practice every single day with each other. We compete against each other a lot, whether it's tackling, drills, one-on-one, obviously team periods. So understanding that we're across from each other, iron sharpens iron, and they're a very talented group. They got a lot of guys out there that just keep getting us better every single day, and we got to come with that juice and that energy to make sure they get better too.
Josh Moore, let's go to a follow-up question from you.
Ellis, you mentioned earlier that this is still a fast group, so that kind of begs the question, who is the fastest linebacker or 2 right now, and is that a point of pride for you guys?
You're going to get me in trouble with that question. Yes, it's a very big point to be fast, instinctual, reckless on the field. Fastest linebacker. I'm going to let Lance and Brandon got a race. I'll toss it up to them too. So yeah, but it's funny, we was just talking about that in practice like 2 days ago. But yeah, for sure, them two got to go at it.
Matt and Justin, you've both joined us. Justin, you just put your hand up, so go ahead. Let's go ahead with a question from you.
So obviously there's going to be a lot of talk and this year just about Mike and obviously him not being there. But at the same time, do you guys kind of take that as a challenge? Do you guys, to not only survive without him, but, continue to thrive and continue to be one of the best linebacking groups in the conference?
Yeah, of course. Like I was saying earlier, LBU is a standard. It's a tradition that I feel like you live up to. So, yeah, we got to come to work every single day with that mentality that, yeah, Mike is an amazing player. We love him. We're going to miss him a lot. But at the same time, it's the next man up mentality. We got to come in here. We got to beat LBU. We got to live up to that standard.
Thank you, sir. Matt, let's go ahead and have you jump in.
Ellis, I wonder if you can tell us a little bit about some of the linebackers that we haven't seen so far, the freshmen, Curtis Jacobs and Tyler Elston and Zariah Fisher.
I'll start off with Zariah. Zariah is a very instinctual kid, super long arms, can run well. Very excited to see him play. Curtis, obviously a very versatile player, played different positions in high school, so you can see his range on the field, especially at the linebacker position. And going on to Tyler, he's a kid, in-state kid, loves to learn. I can tell he wants to be a student of the game, and I'm excited to see his maturity as he goes along.
We do have time for more questions. It looks like we're supposed to wrap up in about 7 minutes, but if there are more questions, Sean, let's go ahead and go with you.
Ellis, Brent said on the radio show a week or so ago that Charlie's now in the middle. What have you had to do to talk to him about, he's played all three spots now as well, but what have you had to talk to him about just assuming that role?
That it is very vocal. You got to be a great communicator. That's probably one of the biggest things that comes along with the position. Mike is the newest one for him, so him doing all the commanding and talking and getting the defense set up is kind of new, but he's doing a great job adapting to it. Very coachable. He's learning fast, and I think he's going to pick it up quick.
Thank you for that follow-up question. Josh, let's go with you. Another question. We do have some more time, so get those questions in.
And Ellis, you got to see the off seasons of a lot of your teammates. I'm just curious, who's impressed you the most this off season? And maybe if you could pick one guy besides yourself, who do you think maybe is poised for a breakout year here?
Jaquan Brisker. Briss has been playing great in camp, has showed great range, coverage ability to come downhill, great angles. I'm very excited to see him play.
We've got more time if there are more questions for Ellis. You have a follow-up?
Yeah, just kind of a separate thing, Ellis, but I'm just curious, last year you had three older guys you could talk to a lot. How different is it this year? I mean, when you have a question, where do you go to? Or do you know everything now? And how does that dynamic work now that you went from being one of the backups, one of those guys who, could still learn a little bit to one of those leaders?
I have so much to learn. I have so much to grow in so many areas. I have a great coaching staff, so that's where I go when I have questions. Coach Pride does an amazing job. Coach Banks, they do a great job of helping me improve as a student of the game. So, yeah.
Gianna, go ahead.
Yes. Ellis, I want to know a little bit about you off the field. How would you describe your character in 3 words? Uh-oh. Are we mute?
Fast clicker, sorry.
I would say fun. I would say funny, chill, and positive would be my third word.
Josh, do you have any more questions?
Yeah, actually, if I could ask you one more, Ellis. I know you've had quite a few Micah questions already, and I'm going to guess that this probably won't be the end of them, but I am curious, when he announced that he was going to the NFL, what was your first reaction? Was it, oh no? Was it like, all right, now's our time to shine? What was that, and has that feeling changed at all since it's had some time to marinate?
My biggest emotion was just proud. I mean, seeing his growth from when he was a recruit to practicing every single day with him, living with him, and then obviously him making that decision, which was the best for him and his family, his interests. And it was just, man, like, I don't know, it's just seeing one of your boys make it. It's a crazy feeling to describe. I had the same feeling when Cam got drafted. We was on FaceTime. So just proud to this day. And I just know he's going to have a great career, man. I'm super excited for him. And I'm blessed to say that I was able to play with him. Great player, great guy.